Hello there, everyone, and welcome to our third Crash Responder Safety Week All States Planning Call. My name is Kevin Vita, and I'll be helping facilitate today's webinar. This webinar is sponsored by the Federal Highway Administration and hosted by the National Operations Center of Excellence, also known as NOCO. As a quick reminder, NOCO offers a variety of resources to support the transportation systems management and operations community. I'm going to cover a few logistics for today's webinar. All of the attendees are on listen only by default, but we'd like you to stay engaged by using the chat box for identifying yourself and the agency you represent, as well as any additional comments and questions you have during the presentations today. We'll have a Q&A session at the end of the presentations, so we encourage you to ask any questions you have during the presentations in the chat pod as they come to your mind at any time. The questions will be read out loud one at a time by the moderator, and our presenters will answer each question. I would also like to state that this webinar is being recorded, and the recording and the slide deck will be available on the NOCO website within a few days. That's all I have. So with that, I'll hand it over to our Master of Ceremonies for today, Jim Ostrich.
Thank you, Kevin, and many thanks to the National Operations Center of Excellence. You guys provide us with tremendous support, and always like to remind everyone about the resources that are there, as you mentioned, in transportation systems management and operations, including traffic incident management. So welcome again, everyone. Today, I'm joined by my colleague as well, Joe Tebow from the Office of Operations TIM Program Office, and Joe will speak towards the end of today's webinar. But many thanks again to all of you for what you do and shining the light on responder safety, motorist safety, struck bys, line of duty deaths, and everything having to do with the challenges and really the risks that our responder community faces every day and every night across this country. So next slide. This is our standard disclaimer. We sometimes refer to manufacturers or products that we want the national traffic incident management community to know about. And so we as a federal government do not endorse those products, but we gladly share the information about those products. Next slide. So today, another great all states planning call. Actually, it's the last one for 2024 because we're just weeks away from Crash Responder Safety Week. So we'll go over real quick the background, the message or theme, and then we have two phenomenal presenters that we'll introduce here in a few minutes. And as Kevin said, we'll have a little Q&A session. As I said, Joe Tebow, Paul can't join us today, but Joe will cover the state report outs. And we really want to hear from you what you're doing, and especially if it's something new and innovative. So let's roll here. Next slide. So what's the purpose? Why are we doing this? These webinars, and those of you that have been with us, over the years are familiar with what the mission is here, which is basically to spread the word, public outreach and education through your communications officers and offices, public and even private, for all the major associations in police, fire, rescue, EMS, towing, recovery, public works, and many others. The awareness that you bring to our nation, to the motoring public, and to responders is extremely valuable. I will tell you, we're going to cover some of the steps, and also what I wanted to say here is we not only want to encourage and facilitate and coordinate, help you in any way we can with activities, but primary mission here is for us to share, and our presenters in particular to share what they're doing. And today is a little different because we have a representative from American Public Works Association, and which is one of our member associations to the Federal Highways Traffic Incident Management Executive Leadership Group. Next slide. So our pretty much standard list of activities that states typically engage in, and there's a few here that are missing, if you will. The ones in with the red, asterisk, as it says there, in particular. Number one, obviously, proclamations. You guys have been hearing us now for several years, and we're so proud of you and everyone that's engaged and been able to influence and make a governor's proclamation or mayoral proclamation, association proclamation, proclamations of all shapes and sizes and different entities that are occurring, and it continues to grow every year. And I long for the day, Paul, Joe, and I long for the day when all 50 states, excuse me, DC and Puerto Rico are participating with proclamations. So you'll see all what you have here in front of you again. When the time comes towards the end, when we do the report out, please share anything new and exciting that you're doing, whether it's in person or virtually or social media, etc. So it's all about relationships, and it's all about collaboration. Next slide. So as I said, activity one, proclamations, right? You'll see in a minute last year's, but our goal for this year is just a few more than last year, but we're really pushing the local level proclamations. You heard me say municipalities, mayoral proclamations from those municipalities. Think about it. We could have thousands of them, and the more the better. And what our goal here is to spread this information. And bottom line is, as my colleague Joe Tebow always says, our mission is to save lives every day, and we know we are. So there's a couple of those two bullets to the side. You've probably participated in webinar, or first one, I believe, for this year. We shared the resources and the how to submit for a proclamation, the language, which is slightly modified this year. You'll see, and you'll hear about the materials for 2024 that are available for your use. And let's really have another successful jump in proclamations. Would be really, really appreciated. Next slide. So here's what I mentioned here, 2023. We had 22 state governor's proclamations, and over 10 for local, as I said, mayoral or county executive, could be metropolitan planning organizations. or again, those public safety, transportation, public works associations, that if you know somebody and can make that happen, then that's what you should do, and we ask you to do that. Sometimes it just starts by a simple phone call, and then in no time, can get it done. You see the map there. One day that whole map will be blue, right? So next slide. Our theme for 2024, responders ahead, reduce your speed as you proceed. This was my colleague Joe Tebow's innovation for this year. He's the one that came up with this, and we chose it, and use it as much as you like. The different customizable materials that we can talk about a little bit more here in a few minutes. So I still get emails about what the theme is for 2024. That's why I'm pausing here a little bit longer, so you can commit it to memory maybe. Otherwise, it'll be on the NOCO, as Kevin said. This webinar proceeding will be on the NOCO website in short order. Next slide. So as in the past 3 years, we have a theme for every day of the week. Social media obviously is a big part of it, and pushing these different activities, if you will. But Monday, we always set aside for webinar, a kickoff, CRSW kickoff webinar, if you will. And this year it'll be a little shorter, but just as impactful. And there'll be hopefully the usual 200-300 or more folks that are participating, listening to what's going on. And you can see there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday what the focus is, and a lot of you already have your plans underway. Next slide. So I set this or in a prep call the other day. I think I asked Kelly to speak to this slide. Kelly?
Yes, thanks, Jim. So what we want to do with this CRSW Ally in Action is essentially to show a strong force amongst responder communities, cities, towns, states, in support of CRSW. So we're asking agencies and organizations to become a CRSW Ally in Action. And all that is simply completing a form. It's an online form. There's a screenshot of the first few questions. There's a link here, or you can use the QR code to go straight to the form on your phone. It simply asks for your name, your organization's name and logo, and has some check boxes associated with the activities that Jim showed a few slides ago about what your organization is doing to support CRSW. It may not all be applicable, but we're hoping to capture what organizations across the country are committed to doing. And we're particularly looking for examples of outside the box ideas when it comes to promoting CRSW. So for example, our good friend Dr. Harden in Arizona has promoted CRSW by engaging a local pizza company, a delivery company to put CRSW flyers on pizza boxes. Others have done podcasts, a series piece with local news. And this is just a mechanism to share your ideas and your activities, and for us to have that and compile that. And we will also be sharing at the national kickoff webinar the logos of the organizations who have completed the Ally in Action form. So be sure to fill it out and see your organization's logo presented at the national kickoff webinar.
Very good, Kelly. Please take advantage of this, and let's enact another important piece to our portfolio, and you help us, we help you, and ultimately our community, the National TIM community, benefits. So one thing I wanted to mention real quick before I go to the next slide, the presenters are coming up next, right, Kevin?
Yes.
Okay. The point I wanted to make is right now, Joe, I don't know if you know the number right now. We still at 28 line of duty deaths.
32.
How many?
32.
Oh, bummer. Okay.
Right.
32. And what do we have left? 2.5 months, or I guess 3 months. Just shy of 3 months. So we were doing great. The point I was trying to make is that you might not think that your efforts are paying off, but there's been a trend, a downward trend, I dare say. And at 32, last year's total was 45, I think, right, Joe? And
Yes.
yeah, and so I'm still hopeful that between now and December 31st, we will be under 30 or under 45, pardon me. So with that, next slide. Kelly, you want to introduce Dawn, give us her bio, if you will. You're muted, Kelly.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt, but could a message to Kevin. Kevin, could you look at the chat and take a look at some, there's a particular comment in there, and take a look at that for me, please.
Yep, sorry about that. I was on mute. So Dawn Miller is our first speaker. She is an incident operations engineer with the Michigan Department of Transportation and the statewide TIM training coordinator. She is also an instructor trainer for the National TIM Responder Training Program, which in Michigan is branded My Time. Dawn analyzes statewide traffic incident data to improve roadway safety and reduce congestion. She has a bachelor's degree in civil engineering from Michigan State University and is a licensed professional engineer in Michigan. Dawn?
You're muted, Dawn.
I didn't press it hard enough. My cursor was there. I just didn't press the button hard enough. Oh, I see. One more step. Whoops. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So thank you for the introduction, Kelly. I was asked to speak on Michigan's activities regarding social media, our media event, and also media releases and some other activities that we have that you might be interested to learn about for Crash Responders Safety Week. Next slide, please. Here is the form that you all probably have seen on previous calls. And as you can see, we will submit a governor's proclamation once again this year I believe we've done it the last 4 years, I think. And so that will be coming soon. Things you can do with the governor's proclamation is capture an image of it and share it in your social media. The next thing we will have is our changeable message signs that are on our state routes. And also I will show you an example of a changeable message sign that is owned by a city and is used for advertisement that I contacted regarding messaging for Crash Responder Safety Week. We will have a social media presence. Michigan DOT, our communications section will do that. And also the Michigan State Police Office of Highway Safety Planning will also have their communication section share messages for social media. We have 2 trainings scheduled in the Lansing area for Crash Responder Safety Week, hoping to get a few more scheduled for that week. Later on in this presentation, I will show you our website presence for traffic incident management. We will have a press release that will also talk about our media events that will be statewide, talks about Crash Responder Safety Week, also shares some links to some resources talking about TIM, and also supported by AAA and also local agencies. That press release will be shared. We will have a media event. They're working on it in Detroit. I'm also reaching out to the east side of the state, which is an area where we have not held a media event in the past. We've been around the state, and I'll show you a map a little bit later of where those are. And we do have travel TV at some of our rest areas where we can inform the motorists about slow down and move over. And opportunity that I'm going to pursue is there are display cases that have maps and other pieces of information at the rest area. So I'm going to pursue seeing if we can get some posters about Crash Responder Safety Week posted in those display cases. Our Secretary of State branch offices is where folks go to renew their driver's license and vehicle registrations. So that is an opportunity. I think the presentation is not being shown anymore. Do you want to put that back up? Or is that just on my screen?
1 second here.
There we go. So I think I left off. So folks in Michigan go to the Secretary of State office to renew their driver's license and also get vehicle registration. Pre-COVID, they had monitors in the offices that would show safety messages, and we did have move over, slow down safety messages included there. Not getting so much foot traffic in the branch offices, and that's why there's a maybe. So I'm not sure if they're doing them. And then also we have a Towards Zero Deaths newsletter that goes out every month. And there's a different safety topic that is included in that newsletter. And during Crash Responder Safety Week, we also will include information about Crash Responder Safety Week. And then another item that I thought about that I'm going to try to pursue is our state's Traffic Safety Network, which is a partnership between AAA and the Office of Highway Safety Planning, as I mentioned earlier, to promote safety in communities. And it's a regional program. I think there's 11 regions throughout the state, and they also had a newsletter that they're reinvigorating. And so there's another opportunity to promote Crash Responder Safety Week. Next slide, please. Here are some examples of some social media posts that we have on Facebook and on formerly Twitter, now X. As you can see, we have various response communities. We have information on the signs on our state routes. designating that Michigan's law is drivers have to slow down and move over for emergency and maintenance vehicles. Also, I will point out that a post in the middle, that was our media event last year at the Comstock Township Fire Department. So they had their township record the event and post it in their various social media channels. And then it was also shared. So that was a really good opportunity there. Next slide, please. Our presentation has disappeared again.
We apologize, Dawn. Apparently there's some obviously technical issue going on Kevin's side, but I don't know if anyone else noticed that the slide goes blurry. At least it's happening with me. Kevin, I don't know if you're listening.
Yeah, apologies, I'm back. Sorry, Zoom on my end is crashing, and I'll see what I can do.
Okay, sir, thank you. So is this where you left off, Dawn?
Yes, it is. I'm ready to go to the next slide. Here are two screenshots of the video message I spoke about at the Secretary of State branch offices. I tried to put the video into the PowerPoint, but the PowerPoint became too big with all the content that I couldn't email it to Kelly to have presented to you all. So I had to take some screenshots. But as you can see, we do talk about drivers slowing down. Next slide. Here are some more snapshots of the travel TV monitors. If you look at the map on the right, all of the red stars are all the welcome centers in Michigan, and all of those have that travel TV. It's a 30-second message, as you can see around some of the photo images. It is supported by tourism. And so the companies whose ads you see there, they pay for the monitor. And so there's no cost to the Michigan Department of Transportation to have this monitor. And the agreement was that they could put them in the rest area welcome centers, and we would be allowed to add safety messaging to them at no cost. And then the blue ones are the other blue stars on the map are the rest areas that are not welcome centers. Next slide, please. So here's an example of the city message sign. Again, this one has a video that I tried to insert, but it was too big, and so I couldn't. I drove past this sign on my way to work, and so I reached out to the city and talked to them about Crash Responder Safety Week, if they could put a message on it. And I indicated that it supported responder safety, and responders were city employees, the Muskegon Police Department, Muskegon Fire Department. And so they allowed that, they came up with a message for us on there. It's about 30 seconds. And we were able to have this play during Crash Responder Safety Week at no charge. So that was a good opportunity. Next slide, please. They also have about 3 of these signs throughout the city. We also have a GovDelivery newsletter that goes out. I mentioned the Towards Zero Deaths, and so here's an example. I wasn't able to fit it all on the screen and have you be able to actually read it, so I divided it into 2 pieces. And as you can see on the left half, there are some links there to the Move Over Law and about the My Time website and various other content there. Even the Federal Highway Crash Responder Safety website, it has a link there. So that's another way we can get that information out to the public. Next slide, please. So here's where we have had our Crash Responder Safety Week media events since 2019. We did have a few years before, but I did only put these on there. So as you can see, the red stars are all the locations where they were in the past. And then the green stars are where we're planning for this year. Next slide, please. So here's an example of our media release from last year. Again, you can see we include the link to other content. This link goes to our video that we have on YouTube. It's one that we created at MDOT with local responders. So those are real people who are real firefighters, not actors. And the location where we filmed the video is at the Michigan State Police driving course. So it was safe from traffic and we could set up the scene exactly how we wanted to. And then Kevin, if you want to play the video.
Whoa! Now that was close. That's what it's like responding to a crash when drivers don't slow down and move over.
First responders are called to a traffic crash every 2 minutes in Michigan,
which adds up to more than 260,000 incidents each year.
In order for them to do their job safely, we all need to do our part.
Focusing on the critical task at hand can be difficult when cars are whizzing by.
When you see a stopped emergency vehicle with flashing emergency lights, you are required by law to slow down at least 10 miles per hour below the posted speed limit.
The law also requires you to move over at least one lane if you can do so safely.
If you can't move over, slow down.
Michigan's move over law applies to law enforcement, firefighters, emergency medical services, tow trucks, freeway courtesy patrol, and road maintenance vehicles.
Notice the difference when drivers slow down?
Slow down. Move over. It's the law.
We created this video in 2021. Next slide, please.
At Harbor Freight, we design and test our own tools and sell them directly to you. No middleman.
All right, so this video was a partnership, the Office of Highway Safety Planning, which does traffic safety campaigns. That's the organization in Michigan that does the traffic safety campaigns through NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. And so they have campaign advertising dollars to spend for safety messaging. And they reached out to us to help collaborate and provide feedback on this video. This video, when they created it, they did work with an ad agency. They wanted to have diversity in this video. And so all of these responders that you'll see, that is their actual job. The only one who that is not her actual job is the MDOT responder that you'll see towards the end, the woman. But again, they wanted to present diversity of all different types of responders, different types of people. And so they had to go with an actor because we couldn't find an actual employee who was willing to participate. So, and this one was just released this year. So I will go ahead and let you play this one too.
Drivers, when we're stopped and you see our lights are flashing, use yours. First, show those brake lights and slow down at least 10 miles per hour below the posted speed limit.
Then put on your turn signal and move over to the next lane if possible.
This protects us and the people we're helping. It's also the law.
So remember, when you see our lights, use yours.
So they did a great job, and I think they all have a career in the film industry as actors when they retire from their job as responders. Next slide, please. So now I have a few photos of our past media events. As you can see, we're all wearing masks in this one. We were still in our pandemic, but it didn't stop us. We still went through and had our media event. We held it inside the fire station, November in Michigan. I believe in 2019, we were planning to have a traffic incident management demonstration in the parking lot behind the fire station in Grand Rapids, which is on the west side of the state. And we had a terrible snowstorm and we couldn't do our demonstration, but we still did have our media event. We did have Tim training following the media event. So we were prepared for snow in Michigan. And as you can see, it was a beautiful day. We set up a traffic incident management activity area on the street alongside of the fire station. And we had different speakers from all different disciplines. The photo you see on the lower left, that is our president of our Michigan Towing Association. We could set up a tabletop exercise. We did have some media coverage, well attended, and we did get quite a bit of exposure for that. Next slide, please. So here's our photo from 2022. This one we moved over to the east side of the state in Dearborn, the Detroit area, partnered with AAA. This is at their AAA office. We had our safety service patrol there. As you can see, there was opportunities for interviews. The responder you see on the top right, that was one of our safety service patrol drivers. And in a minute, I'm going to show you his van that was struck while he was responding. As you can see, it was well attended by a lot of different types of disciplines. We had some towers in the audience, law enforcement. We also had a firefighter who was struck while he was responding and he spoke. We also had our safety service patrol and other response vehicles in the parking lot, so media could visit and ask questions. That's our Tim trailer for our safety service patrol that you see in that lower left with the arrow board on it and the traffic control equipment in it. Next slide, please. Oh, one more thing. So as you can see on our agenda, we have all different types of disciplines. We had a speaker from each kind represented to give their perspective on traffic incident management and Crash Responder Safety Week. Next slide, please. So here's the van, our safety service patrol driver. He was parked on the shoulder. He did have his arrow board activated, and you can see it's wet, rainy conditions, and he was still struck and pushed so hard that he was pushed right off of the roadway. Fortunately, he was inside the vehicle and he was not injured. Next slide, please. This is last year's event. This was at the Comstock Township Fire Department. Unfortunately, they lost their fire chief who was struck and killed when he was responding to an incident. If you look next to the fire apparatus, you'll see a display case that has the chief's helmet and turnout gear in it. And they have that in the fire station, but they brought it up to be front and center while we had our media event. As you can see, several disciplines, again, represented at the media event and several types of speakers from various disciplines. Next slide, please. We also did a demonstration outside of the fire department. As you can see, we have the cones and the tapers and the advanced warning, and vehicles are moving over. It's kind of hard to see with the distance that we covered with the traffic incident management area, but we do have angled blocking on that photo on the far right. Next slide, please. And this is our traffic incident management webpage on our michigan.gov site. There's links to TIM resources down at the bottom. We do have a button that visitors can request TIM training up on the right on the top area. We do change the page each year, and this year we have identified the dates for Crash Responder Safety Week. There are links to the move over video. The first video that you saw are on there. And that is all I have. So back to you then. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Dawn. Excellent presentation. Very comprehensive. I hope folks picked up a nugget or two, if not more. You and your team in Michigan, Dawn, always do an exceptional job. So thank you very much. And I do apologize for the technical difficulties. For example, Kevin, I'm seeing her contact info slide, and the photo is all blurry, and as is Mark Shade's first slide here. So Kelly, you want to go ahead and introduce Mark, please?
Sure. So Mark has been serving APWA in Washington, D.C. as its government affairs media manager for 3 years. Prior to APWA, he served as the press secretary for the Pennsylvania Attorney General, communications director in the Pennsylvania House Appropriations Committee, press secretary for several Pennsylvania state senators, and deputy communications director for then Pennsylvania Governor Ed Rendell. Before working in state government, Mark worked as a print, online, and broadcast journalist for several companies, including Reuters, CapitalWire.com, and MLB Network. He's the proud dad of a 28-year-old daughter, Olivia, who is nearing the completion of her PhD in chemistry at the University of Pittsburgh. Mark?
Thanks, Kelly, and thanks, Jim. Yeah, I got to get my daughter in there every time. Proud dad. Thanks for having me be a part of this call. Many people don't think about Public Works being a part of the crash responder community. Heck, many people don't think about Public Works until something happens. But we are working every day to change this and improve recognition for Public Works crash responders. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we do as an organization of more than 32,000 members to advance this messaging. Next slide. One of the two biggest ways we do this starts with APWA's Director of Government and Public Affairs, Andrea Eels. Andrea is an active member of Federal Highways Traffic Incident Management Executive Leadership Group, and she normally would be the one speaking to you today, but because she's an excellent leader, she involves all of us on the government affairs team. The second way is our constant drumbeat for Public Works professionals to be recognized as first responders. It's a positive and patient drumbeat, I promise you. This symbol is our Public Works First Responder badge. And as first responders, we are also often crash responders. Public Works big trucks are very helpful in diverting traffic around a crash scene. We offer a Public Works First Responder flyer. We've dedicated a page on our website for Public Works Fallen Heroes. And we are working with Baltimore Public Works Experience on a permanent Fallen Heroes memorial. You can watch the video at another time. During Crash Responder Safety Week, we are active on our social media platforms, X and LinkedIn, and we often follow FHWA's messaging suggestions for Crash Responder Safety Week. We are working on our video for this year, but here's the video we did last year with APWA President Gary Lozier.
Hi there, I'm Gary Lozier, President of the American Public Works Association. APWA is also a member of the Crash Responder Safety Week Planning Committee for this year. This group is helping to guide and coordinate a national outreach campaign with a focus on responder and road user safety. Every day, traffic incident responders across the country put their lives at risk as they work to clear our roadways from debris that's been caused by crashes, vehicle accidents, or other incidents that put the rest of the motoring public at risk. As responders, we deserve free training on how to stay safe while working within our roadways. In addition, motorists should have proper information on how they can protect traffic incident responders as they drive by these roadway scenes. APWA and several responder organizations are asking motorists to protect those who protect you. Remember to slow down, move over, and stay alert when you see responders at work at the side of the road. Help us get this message across to everyone. During Crash Responder Safety Week from November the 13th to the 17th, share your stories on social media. You can upload photos or videos or explain in writing what it's like to work roadside. And remember to mark your stories with the hashtag CRSW. We encourage all APWA members to take the free traffic incident management training program that's been offered by the Federal Highway Administration. Honestly, it might be something that saves your life of a coworker, a friend, or somebody that you truly love. Let's use this Crash Responder Safety Week to create a safer work environment for all our members, and ultimately create a safer travel area for all road users. Thank you very much.
Like I said, we are working on writing and producing our video for this year, but it will be a little bit shorter, but promise it'll still be as effective. One other way we talk up Crash Responder Safety Week is in our weekly newsletter, the APWA Washington Report. This is something we publish every week that the House and/or Senate, or both, are in session, and that comes out on Mondays. APWA has 3 public policy priorities: emergency management, transportation, and water resiliency, that change with every new session of Congress. In our transportation priority, we advocate for funding increases in IIJA to improve existing transportation safety programs and also to create new ones. And we are proponents of Vision Zero and Road to Zero. In 2022, we entered into a memorandum of understanding with FEMA. As CEO Scott Grayson said in the press release we issued, the memorandum highlights the fact that public works professionals are first responders who work hand in hand with FEMA and other emergency workers to get communities back on their feet. One other routine crash safety task we amplify with our 62 chapters is for members to participate and complete FHWA's free traffic incident management training. It's an important part of the daily job of a public works professional. And one of our chapters, this is because of Dawn really, but APWA Michigan is one of our chapters. They offer a Road Scholars program for road right-of-way workers who are trained in everything from flagging certification to roadway emergency response. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark. And thank you for everything you do with Public Works to make our lives safer. I can tell you that when I ran the operations and TIM program in Washington, D.C., the D.C. Department of Public Works was a integral part and just great partner, as you say. I remember the director saying that public works are the heavy lifters, you know, the resources, heavy equipment, street sweepers, you name it, front end loaders and all kinds of other assets that they can bring to bear at a major crash scene or even, you know, weather events, etc. I have many fond memories of. So you're absolutely right. And we continue to invite Public Works wherever we can. Great partnership. So thank you again.
Thank you, Jim.
So from here, we are at Q&A, and I apologize. We may actually go over time just a little bit, but do we have, I do not see, or wait a minute, the chat pod. I'm trying to see if there's any questions. I answered one earlier regarding whether or not proclamations need to be done done every year? And the answer is yes, preferably yes. And once you do one, it should be pretty easy to continue to do others. More importantly, too, is getting other stakeholders within your state, your jurisdictions to develop one too. Kelly?
Yeah, there's nothing in the Q&A. I'm looking through. I don't see any specific questions for Dawn or Mark in the chat, but if anyone has any questions for Dawn or Mark, please put them in the Q&A.
And then let's just roll, in the interest of time, let's just roll to the report out, and if anybody types anything else in, we'll field it as best we can. So is that okay with you, Kelly? Joe?
Yep.
Kevin?
That works.
Sure.
Okay. So my colleague Joe Tebow is going to take it over from here.
Yeah, greetings, everyone. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. So it's the great time, right? It's the opportunity once a year to really get the recognition and the message out there, to beat our drum, to scream from the highest hill, to watch out for us when we're out there on the roadway. So we're going to run through the roll call here. I'm going to go through by states. I know not everyone is here, but I'm going to start off with the A through H states, right? I don't Alabama, are you online here? I did not see anyone in the chat. Okay, how about Alaska? Arizona, Dr. Harden, I know you're there. Well, you were. Okay, but we'll shoot past Arkansas. Anybody there from Arkansas?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
I didn't catch the unmute button until afterwards. I'll give you a quick snapshot of what Arizona is planning this year. One is we're doing our governor's proclamation again. We've already submitted it for this year. We're going to have our live statewide virtual TIM course like we do every year, but that's going to happen the week before, just the way that the planning worked out. I've got meetings this week with our trauma centers to talk about CRSW, to promote TIM training, not just amongst the fire and EMS folks, but also get their medical directors to get trained, because sometimes these EMS physicians may be called out to certain horrific crash scenes for amputations or other physician level training is required. So we're going to promote to get the physicians trained so they understand the whole concept of unified command. We're working with our EMS base hospitals. They're the folks that work with the medics in the field when they call in for per protocol for treatments and medications and what have you. We're going to get them to promote TIM training, not just during the CRSW amongst the EMS agencies that they have medical direction agreements with, but to make it a regular component year round. We're also going to be having the CRSW posters made available once we get it, to have them posted in each of the emergency department waiting rooms. We can try and have one in English and one in Spanish, since this message this year focuses on drivers. So that way they'll target them while they're sitting there waiting to be treated, because this day and age, EDs get filled up real quick. We're looking at, I got a meeting later this month with our EMS training program directors. We're going to try and get the TIM training made available through our refresher courses. We're also have an arrangement with the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality. Those ones that regulate lots of things on environmental quality, but one in particular is the air quality. They oversee the emission testing sites. While we couldn't get the posters for EMS, CRSW at each of the emission sites, we're going to have one at the Tucson site facility and one at the Phoenix facility, which are the two biggest metropolitan areas in Arizona. So we get that put out, make that available. We're going to continue our pizza box lid promotion. Last year we had one national chain franchisee commit. He passed out 1,400 flyers last year. That's in Maricopa County, which is our biggest and most populated county. Based on average household population statistics, the Census Bureau, there was about 2.67 persons per household. So you multiply 1,400 by 2.67, that gives you like, a couple of thousand or so potential exposures to the flyer. This year, we've got 5 franchisees involved. We're targeting 39,000 flyers this year. We got to make the arrangements to get the printing done. So based on 2 flyers per sheet, and there's 500 pages per sheet, you take that out, it's something like 39 reams of paper. So we're not sure. I mean, my department can't handle that level of a lift. So trying to distribute that amongst the TIM Coalition agencies, see if we can each have them take, do 4 or 5 reams each to print them out. So we're working on that. We may have to find a donation source to go to like a Albus Max or something. We're also working with various messaging systems like the motorist overhead displays on the freeways. We're arranging to have Arizona DOT has the Arizona Highways magazine. There's a published printed version and there's a digital version. We're going to be putting out an advertisement on CRSW that week on the digital platform that'll highlight Crash Responder Safety Week messages, and we'll have each of the core agencies with their logos below, so it shows a good collaboration amongst the agencies on that. That'll be a first. I tried to contact Tunnels to Towers Foundation to see if they would be willing to put the CRSW message on their website, since they deal with first responders, military losses, and taking care of the families. I thought it might be nice to have them promote it up front to reduce, the devastation of a family losing a first responder in the family. Let's see. Also, amongst our trauma centers and our base hospitals, we have injury prevention programs that are all of our level 1 trauma centers and some of our level 4s too. We're going to see if we can get a Stop the Bleed glasses made available to the Arizona towing and recovery operators. So they can set this program up. So either that week and ongoing, we can get these towing operators to drive the trucks to get trained and stop the bleed and basic hemorrhage control, in case they run across, they get there first, or they have to call somebody in, or whatever, or they get into a crash while they're at the scene on their own. So those are some of the things I'm working with at this point. Other than that, was one other thing I'm working on as an option. You all heard of the I want you, or we want you. That's that ever since World War I. I didn't think the Civil War had an Uncle Sam poster that was a way to recruit civilians to join the military in times of conflict. I'm promoting the concept of having one poster done where you'll have one of the a fire, EMS, law enforcement, towing operator, and DOT operator pointing their finger out to the viewer, saying, "We want you," and then at the bottom they'll say, "Get home safely with your Crash Responder Safety Week," or something to that effect. And as a back alternative, we would do one for each of the disciplines. So each discipline would have, just their towing operators, for example. That poster would go to just the towing groups. The one that to the fire department, they would go to them. So I'm working on that now and see if we can get that promoted. It's a matter of organizing the individual agencies to participate, get the photo done, and then work out the digital demographics, make that as an option. So we're trying to get it more personalized in a way that they can see it. So other than that, that's all I have for us right now.
That's all. Thanks, Doc. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for all your hard work. You do great work.
I have a good team, so I can't do it without them.
Good deal. Good deal. All right. I think Arkansas, if you are out there, I'll give you another shot at it. If not, we'll go to California.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, there. I'm sorry, Kelly. Go ahead.
Okay. This
Yes.
is Sri from California. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. No, I appreciate giving an opportunity. I also have my team members here. We were able to do a couple of things more this year than previous years. Unfortunately, we are not able to get a governor's proclamation this year, but we're going to continue to work on that. Our executive video message, we're right now in the process of getting the script done so that our director can prepare a video message that we'll be sharing. On the changeable message signs, like last year, we will be putting up the changeable message signs across the state, over 1,000 of them. We'll share that message. Our public information office is actively involved, and they're taking the lead in coming up with social media campaign. We are going to put like the messages on X, and also see if we can put some message on our main website as far as during that week. We did provide information to our PIO, and they're working with our partners in this, meaning the Highway Patrol, the Department of Motor Vehicles, and the Office of Traffic Safety, to see if we can do a coordinated effort of sharing this information. We did do some training. Recently we had the what we call as the Traffic Management Center Academy. In that area, we provided some training. We have our TIM training on our website, so we can people can join it at any time. There was recently a statewide motorist aid conference or a summit where we shared this information to make sure local agencies also participate in it. So we're not planning on a huge, like a mass media event or a press, like a media event per se, a large media event, but we're going to try to see how much information we can share out through different avenues to kind of focus on this. We have standard messages that we use for move over, so we'll try to focus on that. At times we have been able to get our billboard industry also to participate with us, where they showed this kind of safety messages on billboards. So we're going to try. We'll try to focus on that as well. So those are some of the things we're trying to do this year in California.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you so much. Hey, if you would like to put your get on board here to give your report out, do us a favor, raise your hand there, and we'll get you unmuted so that you can do your report out. So with that said, we're going to jump on over to Colorado. Now I know you're out there. Nothing from Colorado. Okay, jump back in. Raise your hand if you want to follow up on that. Connecticut.
Okay, figure that one out. Thank you. They keep changing Zoom around. So anyway, I just wanted to report out that I'm working with the Connecticut DOT, and they have submitted the proclamation request to the governor. So that is done. I'm sure he will sign it. And we are also going to have a coordination meeting next week to try to schedule an event. Typically, we always do the changeable message sign, social media, press release. I'm just hoping that we can get a bigger presence this year with all the responders. More to come.
More to come. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Delaware, anyone from Delaware? Okay. Florida, know you're out there, beating down the weather. How about Georgia? I know you gave an update in the chat. Appreciate that. Hawaii, I didn't see anyone from Hawaii, but if you're out there, now's your time. Remember, hit the raise your hand button there if you need help. Idaho. Illinois. Indiana. Iowa. How about Kansas? Kentucky? Louisiana. Maine. Maryland. I know Maryland was here. They had to drop for something else. If anyone has joined since, please just raise your hand. We'll get to you. How about Massachusetts? Now Michigan. I think we covered that one, didn't we? Thank you. But if you have more to add, let us know. And then there's Minnesota. Mississippi. Missouri. Montana. Nebraska. How about Nevada? No. Okay, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go, Pat. There you go.
Hey, Joe. You have me all right?
I got you.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Similar to last year for Crash Responder Safety Week, we requested a proclamation from our governor, which will be forthcoming. We're also working on several county commissions, so hopefully we'll have a handful. We have a package working with DOT on DMS messaging statewide for each day. We'll be promoting on our website and Facebook pages and a press release also. Interestingly enough, next month's busy. Our Nevada Traffic Safety Summit is in Northern Nevada in Reno the week before. It's the 12th through the 14th, and we'll be having a Train the Trainer that week also on the 15th. So it's the Friday before Crash Responder Safety Week, but we were able to fit it in. If it's okay, Joy, I'll give an update for Utah also. We'll be doing the governor's proclamation and DMS messaging, and we're also going to have a couple of TIM training courses in the north up in our Wasatch Front area, as well as down in the south around the St. George Cedar City area for Utah. So thanks very much.
Hey, thank you. Greatly appreciate the hard work. How about New Jersey? New Mexico? New York. North Carolina. North Dakota. And Ohio.
Hang on, Joe. We have a couple here. Travis, do you want to say something?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Hey, Joe. Yes, sir. This is Shannon Whaley. Somehow I'm logged in as Travis Britton. He's one of our other team coordinators from the state of North Carolina. I'd be remiss if I didn't share with you what North Carolina is currently facing. I'm with several other states here in the southeastern portion of the U.S. Recent Hurricane Helene has brought on many challenges within our state. It's over a third of our state. Throughout Western North Carolina suffered a tremendous devastation and even loss of life. We've got hundreds that are still unaccounted for and tens of thousands remain without power. I was in a meeting this morning, a little over 400 bridges are damaged out there, deemed unpassable or otherwise completely gone. So the flooding out there has been tremendous. It's put a damper on our department's original plans, but as a team, we still remain committed to the FHWA's goals. We will continue to pursue objectives regarding responder safety. And at the top of this list was our governor's proclamation, which was on the horizon. Unfortunately, due to the situation out in the western part of the state now is somewhat in a holding pattern due to the recent storm. North Carolina has been posting and will continue to use the news media templates provided by the FHWA throughout all of our DOT social media platforms. Our TIM team plans, participates, and still conducts regional public service safety messages across all 14 divisions. During those, we encourage responders to practice safe driving to and while on scene, utilizing appropriate PPE and equipment placement consistent with MUTCD. TIM members provide bi-weekly and or monthly open road safety meetings with our local LEOs, fire, EMS, and our EM responders. During these, we conduct after action reviews, evaluate best practices based on each in particular scene, and provide discussion on ways to improve our response as well as encourage safety. We provided a number of PSA videos this year, but specifically created 2 videos targeting responder safety and highlighting, showcasing our move over law and targeting our Crash Responder Safety Week for those 2 videos. Our plan is to have those during the week of Crash Responder Safety Week to loop or play on gas pumps for 30 seconds throughout the state of North Carolina on the videos on the pumps. Additionally, we have them in our DMV offices as well. But those 2 videos targeted multi-disciplines, which captured and encompassed the fire, EMS community, safety service patrol, law enforcement, of course, and then representatives to include our towing and service towing industry. Lastly, our current team's mission this year was to provide a whole number of each one of our team members targeted about 200. Our goal is to teach at least 200 TIM training courses in person, virtually, and I don't have all of our team's numbers at this point, but I definitely say we've surpassed that as we approach the 11th month of the year here. So I personally have over 200, and I've got 2 more classes slated for one in November, actually 2 in November. So we're making some impact there. In closing, for any of our neighbors in the South from the state of Florida that or maybe on the call just listening. And our thoughts and prayers certainly go out to you folks as y'all brace for yet another hurricane down there in the next few hours. That's all we have from North Carolina, sir.
Well, we're grateful for that and for all the work that you're doing down there. Thoughts and prayers are with you. Any support, that we can give you on the TIM behalf, please reach out. We're here and willing to help. So thank you for that. Greatly appreciate it. I think we have, let's see, Jacob Stein, I believe, was next.
Question?
Yes, I want to apologize for missing your calling out Maine. So my apologies on that. We're doing a governor's proclamation, press
Jacob.
releases.
Jacob, apologies. And you're from where?
Maine.
Oh, Maine. Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
We have a governor's proclamation. I'm doing press releases tied to both the governor's proclamation and also, or I guess it's one press release covering the governor's proclamation as well as a mass a media event. So we're holding a press conference at a local rest stop with commissioners and politicians talking along with first responders. We're doing 2 trainings that week and likely at least one, my office will be doing at least one, if not more, interviews, as well as like the normal social media campaigns where we'll be creating and then sharing social media posts with different partners across the state.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much for your hard work. All right, that's I think I left off Ohio, Oklahoma. How about Oregon? And Pennsylvania. Rhode Island. How about South Carolina? And South Dakota. How about Tennessee? And Texas. And Texas, I know you gave us an update in the chat. I do recall, so we greatly appreciate that. Utah. Oh, I'm sorry. Utah, that was, I'm sorry, you already gave us that. I'm sorry, who was speaking?
It's Dr. Harden with Arizona. A quick question. Having our Southeast colleagues on the line, I had a question I put in the Q&A. If there's any particular or special TIM procedures or responses that are applicable only for in times of disaster. I mean, we have our standard TIM arrangements for day-to-day events of all sizes, but I'm just wondering if there's any special or unique type of TIM approaches, protocols, resources that will be more relevant to a time of disaster like flooding or whatever.
Yeah, and if you do, please drop that in the chat for me if you would, and share it with us. I'd appreciate seeing that myself. Thank you, Doc. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Vermont, Virginia, Washington State, West Virginia. How about Wisconsin? And there's Wyoming. Okay, well, if I missed anyone, hey, I see Michael, you got your hand up there. Can we unmute Michael? Can't hear you, Michael. All right. Well, I can't hear you, Mike. please use the chat if you can be, because if you're speaking, we cannot hear you. Okay, well, some great activities, lots of work going on, lots to be done still. Grateful for all the updates and the participation, and it's making another successful campaign and getting the word out. So with that, yeah, hey Michael, we see it. You got it in the chat for Wisconsin. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I guess I'll turn it back over to you, Jim. I think we're done with the list.
Very good, my brother. Excellent job. And as to echo Joe, all your hard work, and I'm still hopeful that we're going to continue a downward trend on line of duty deaths. And I started to say earlier, I firmly believe that it's because of all the hard work that you guys are all doing. And there's a whole lot of other folks that are not with us here today for good reasons, for sure, especially those in the Southeast. But we're, Paul, Joe, and I were very grateful, and Kelly, our contractor support, and Kevin Vita with NOCO, we're very grateful that over 50 of you stuck with us to the end here. So with that, what was that note from Vishali, Kelly? Didn't we already do that?
Oh, it was simply
No.
it was simply to share it not only within the agencies here today, but when you send out newsletters to your local firefighter, organizations, your local mayor's office, get them to go ahead and sign this Allies in Action link.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Vishali. Great catch. So we have a couple minutes left here. Any last comments?
Yeah, look at the one from Michael. 23 proclamations so far, local proclamations in Wisconsin. Whew.
Yeah, and
so each of those 23 regions should be filling this Allies in Action link so that we can, share that mass message.
Yeah, Vishali, and early on, I actually pushed the envelope and made the suggestion, that it can go far beyond the governor's proclamation, as you know, and it's starting to happen. So kudos to Wisconsin and Michael Youngbluth. Anybody else? Apologize. We can give you 5 minutes back. I do apologize for the intruder. The AI intruder, I guess we could call him. We'll see. It's the second time it's occurred. But we do apologize for that interruption. And again, keep doing great things. Many thanks to Kevin, Vita, our presenters, Dawn Miller, and Mark Spade.
Shade. Mark Shade.
Shade. Thank you, Mark.
And Jim, we just want, before everybody goes, we just want to point out that the CRSW 2024 resources are now live on NOCO. I put the links in the chat. So please go to NOCO and check out these resources here that you can use to customize different templates that you can use to customize messages in various forms as part of your outreach.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad, Kelly. I apologize. That's so important.
Click on the CRSW Outreach Toolkit, and I want to say thanks to Dr. David Harden. Kevin, can you go back up, click on the Outreach Toolkit right there, third paragraph. There you go. And if you look there, Dr. Harden said, we need a bigger poster. So we actually made a flyer template that's 18 by 24 size for responders and for the public. So we heard you and we made it happen. And you could see all the other templates, whether it's the news article, the video script, the press release, the proclamation template, they're all there.
Very good, very good. Thank you, Vishali. Thank you, Kelly. And again, once again, thank you, Kevin.
And Adam Hops.
Adam Hobbs. I didn't know Adam was on, but yeah, the note.
He made the website happen.
Oh, good point. My goodness. So here you see we're what, 5 weeks away, or is it 6? I think it's 5 full weeks away from the 18th, which Monday the 18th, right? 5 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Okay, y'all. Keep doing the great things, and we love you all. We cherish our relationships, our partnerships with all of you, and everything you do at all times. On behalf of Federal Highway, Paul, Joe, myself, and our contractor team, be safe out there, and let's all pray for the folks in the South that are going to experience a very, very hard storm tonight, tomorrow. So let's keep them in our prayers. Thank you all. Stay safe.